History books tell us that World War I began with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and that World War II was caused by Hitler's aggressive expansion. But history is never that simple. Beneath the surface, unseen forces were shaping the world long before the first shots were fired. Economic rivalries, secret alliances, political betrayals, these hidden forces drove the world into chaos. Today, we reveal the real causes of the two deadliest wars in human history. Long before 1914, a silent war was already being fought, an economic war. Germany's rise as an industrial powerhouse threatened Britain's dominance. By the early 1900s, German steel production had surpassed Britain's, and German factories were outproducing many of their European rivals. The British Empire, which relied on its global colonies for wealth, saw Germany's expansion as a direct threat to its control over world trade. Britain responded by building more warships, and Germany countered with its naval buildup. By 1914, Germany had built 17 dreadnought-class battleships, directly challenging Britain's naval supremacy. This arms race wasn't just about military power, but also about controlling the global economy, which was a ticking time bomb. Beyond Europe, the real battleground was overseas. The British and French empires controlled vast territories in Africa and Asia, using them for raw materials, trade routes, and military dominance. Germany, a relatively new power, had fewer colonies and demanded a place in the sun. This led to a series of international crises. The First Moroccan Crisis, 1905, Germany challenged France's control over Morocco, nearly causing war. The Second Moroccan Crisis, 1911, Germany sent a warship to Morocco, prompting Britain and France to threaten military action. Each of these moments could have ignited war years before Franz Ferdinand was assassinated. Europe was already divided into two massive military alliances: the Triple Entente, Britain, France, Russia, and the Triple Alliance, Germany, Austria, Hungary, Italy. These alliances were supposed to maintain balance, but they instead created a fragile system in which any small conflict could drag all of Europe into war. The war plans of major powers made peace almost impossible. Germany's Schlieffen Plan required an immediate invasion of France through Belgium at the first sign of war. Russia's full mobilization plan meant any German aggression would trigger total war. Britain had naval blockades ready. Everything was designed for immediate conflict. World War I may have ended in 1918, but its effects never disappeared. The Treaty of Versailles blamed Germany for the war, forcing them to pay massive reparations. Germany's economy collapsed. By 1923, hyperinflation made money worthless. A loaf of bread cost 200 billion marks. Millions of Germans were unemployed and humiliated. And in that chaos, a man like Hitler didn't just rise, he was created. The Great Depression wasn't just an economic crisis, it was a political crisis. Countries that suffered most turned to authoritarian leaders who promised strength. In Germany, Hitler's Nazi Party went from a fringe movement to dominant power in just a few years. In Italy, Mussolini's fascists promised to restore the Roman Empire. In Japan, military leaders sought war to secure resources. The world was heading for disaster. Most people think that Britain and France didn't want war, and that's true. But their mistake wasn't avoiding war, it was allowing it to happen. They let Hitler rebuild Germany's army, invade Austria, and take Czechoslovakia, hoping that if they gave him what he wanted, he would stop. But aggressors never stop, they take more. By the time Hitler invaded Poland in 1939, the world was out of time. World War I and II were not separate conflicts. They were one long, unfinished war, fueled by the same forces: economic power struggles, political betrayals, and global ambition. And the truth is, these forces never disappeared. We see them today in rising nationalism, economic tensions, and military alliances forming once again. The world has seen this pattern before. History doesn't repeat itself, it warns us. If we fail to learn the real causes of war, we may one day find ourselves on the brink once again. If you've watched this far, you now know that history is never as simple as it seems. The real causes of war are always beneath the surface. But knowledge is power. The more we understand history, the better we can prevent its mistakes from repeating. Help us share this important message. Hit the like button to support the channel, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe so you never miss a new documentary. And if you found this eye-opening, share it with someone who needs to hear this. Because history is not just about the past, it shapes our future.